Why do I keep attracting emotionally unavailable men? That is today's topic that I'm going to dive into. If you are interested in today's video, then please go ahead and comment and subscribe and share the video. I have a lot of things going on down in the description to let you know the different things that I offer to help you with healing from toxic relationships to setting boundaries to self-care. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and look in the description box and everything will be there for you. So let's dive into today's video about why do we as women continue to attract emotionally unavailable men. So I got my notes with me because it's a lot of things I want to cover. And what I'm going to say, because I don't want to forget it, because I am going to be going through a lot of different topics, not topics, but maybe subtopics within this video. But I'm going to go a little bit deeper in the aspect of now making sure you heal from it, making sure you, what I would say, have the workbook to do the work and to recognize the healing that you need to do on yourself, so this way you don't attract this type of individual. And that will be in my Patreon. That will be listed in the description box as well. So if you are interested, you can sign up for my Patreon, where you will get the video. You will also get the workbook that's included with it, so you can go through this. And then what I like to do is I like to come on and I would like to do, like, lives or maybe a recorded video. But I really like to do lives, but I'm just gonna wait until I get some feedback from you guys, and then that way I can come on and do a live in the Patreon group. And this way we can discuss these topics that are so sensitive. Because the thing that I like to do when it comes to putting out content, especially content around our awareness when we're getting in relationships with, other individuals, is I don't want to just continue to put it out on my platform. And the reason for that is because if I am giving you tips on how to recognize a certain type of personality or a certain type of individual or a player or a romance scammer, I don't want to give that type of information on my platform, because people are watching. And what people like to do is, if you give them the information that I am giving you to look out for, then they're going to just find more strategic ways to kind of sabotage you. And that's why we as women, our intuition is so important, because we need to understand that even though someone can be very crafty in what they do and say all the right things, but our intuition and our bodies will always let us know that something is off, and we need to pay attention to that. So anything that I'm going to give you that's going to give you a heads up on certain different types of personalities and what to watch out for will be in my Patreon, because this way you can get that information firsthand, and this way it's not spread out all over where people now know how to basically come in and sabotage you. Because the whole thing about you now healing and thriving in life is so you can notice the people who are coming into your energy, so this way you only accept those who are on that same level and that same journey that you're on. So let's get started. I just wanted to kind of put that out there before we jumped into the video. So what is emotional unavailability? So it's someone who avoids closeness with you. It's someone who basically says that they want a commitment, but they're very vulnerable. They may say that, oh, I want the same things that you want. And this is why we as women, we have to know who we are. And the reason why sometimes men will pick up desperation, because we want to be loved. Maybe we've been through different, relationships and connections with people who just used us, took our kindness for weakness, but we continue to stay there because we wanted to show them, I'm a good woman, I'm a good person, I'm valuable. And we try to overextend ourselves to people who are not really emotionally available for you, because they have their own wounds. And we'll get into that topic a little bit later in this video. But they have their own wounds. They have their own things that they need to heal from. But if we're not healed, we'll go into connections and relationships and situationships and sometimes even marriages just, vying for somebody to love us and doing the most, but we're not happy. We're not really thriving in that connection or in that relationship. We're just basically trying to continue to show this person, who we are. And a lot of times, if I really want to put it from my perspective, a lot of times we don't know who we are, because if we really knew who we are, we would not be jumping through hoops and hurdles to make someone notice us, because we would be so confident within ourselves that we know that we would attract the right person. A lot of times, and I don't know if you women experience this, but I'm going to say this, and I'm going to put this out here. It's not a blanket statement, because there's always exceptions to the rule. But what I want to say is that when it comes to sometimes, you go out, you're looking good, you're glowing up, you're probably, doing certain things to make yourself feel better about situations that you've been through, or really just trying to pull yourself up by your bootstraps from things that you experience. And then you can go out and you notice men looking at you. You notice men admiring you. You notice men, really kind of like, want to say something to you, but they don't. And a lot of times we say, well, why the men are not saying anything? Why are the men, just closed mouth? Why are they hushed mouth? And a lot of times it can be two things I want to say. It could be one, because if you're a beautiful woman, if you're an attractive woman, the first thing that's going to come to a man's mind is, oh, she's too beautiful. She's probably already taken, right? So they already think that you're in a relationship, so they're not going to approach you. And some men, they're bold enough, they don't even care. But the other thing could be is because they know and they can sense your energy. They can sense that, they're not even on your level. At some way in your presence or how you show up in the world, it kind of intimidates someone. So they know that in order for them to step to you, they have to be on an even playing field with you. They have to be in a place where now they can hold that conversation. They can say things without feeling like, that schoolboy who's like, shy or whatever like that. So a lot of times when we are basically getting into that healing journey, and we show up with that confidence, we show up with that self-assuredness, we give off a certain vibration, we give off a certain energy that sometimes repels people from us. And that's not a bad thing, because we don't want to attract people who are emotionally unavailable anyway, right? But if we're in that energy where we're not sure of ourselves, or we're not sure of who we are, and we want someone to love us, then we give off that energy of desperation. We give off that energy of, oh wow, let me see if I can go, and then you'll have men approach you, or try to get your number, or maybe you'll meet someone online, and here comes all the love bombing and all of these things. And then the first thing they start asking you, well, what type of man do you want, and what type of man do you see in your life? And the thing that we need to stop doing is, and I'm sure that many of you heard this throughout social media, we don't tell them that. It's like, if you're the man for me, I will know that by how you show up. Like, we can have conversations around, maybe books we've read, maybe TV shows we watch, maybe things that's going on in the world, maybe, there's so many things to talk about. And yes, we can talk about ourselves. We can talk about things that you like, maybe like you like going to work out, you like, cooking, you like going, for walks, you like going to museums, you like going, shopping, whatever that is. You can talk about things as far as what you like to do, and maybe your hobbies and your activities. But sometimes when men come into your lives, they want to know exactly what type of man that you want in your life, so this way they can become that, especially if they're coming in to kind of fool you or play with you, or they're really not serious, but they're trying to basically get you to drop your guard, trying to get you to lower your defenses. So this way you are, open to them now bringing you into what I would say a soul tie, like trying to get you to have some type of bondedness with them. So this way, now when the real them shows up, when the real person shows up, then now you're so invested in that person that it's hard for you to walk away, because you feel like, oh wow, I done poured so much into this person, I done shared so much with this person, and now they're kind of flipping the script on me. And that's why we as women need to understand who we are, what we value, and how we are to basically make sure that we are whole. We're not looking for another person to make us whole. We need to be whole within ourselves. So let me go back to my notes. So they may come across charming, they may come across mysterious, maybe even attentive at first. And like I said, but when it's time to go deeper, now you can be, let's say, in a connection for, let's say, six months to a year, right? So at that point, there's a steady, you're getting along, you're basically getting to know each other. And now, you say, okay, let's take the relationship to the next level. We're out of that, just that, what I would say, that phase of where it's kind of awkward or whatever like that. You're really feeling this person and they're feeling you. But now you're starting to notice now when you start asking them, well, what do you want out of life? And maybe that's something that you should really ask when you're getting into connection, because you need to understand, what do you want out of a connection? Do you want long-term? Do you want marriage? Or is it this, you just want to go dating? Maybe you want to date multiple people. And I think people, as far as us being adults, we need to be able to articulate that to that person. If you're just out here dating and just getting to meet people and just want to go here and there, maybe it's not a serious type of thing. You're not looking for them to, pay all the time. You're just, maybe you go Dutch and just to have a friend there with you. So you need to say that. Don't come into a connection and tell a person you want long-term commitment, but really you're out here, you're dating other people. And I think that's kind of like what I would say, kind of a gray area, because I hear some people saying, well, if this person isn't committed to me, if this person is not, trying to marry me, then why would I just waste my time? Why would I put all my eggs in one basket? Why would I be loyal and faithful to this person when I'm just really dating? I'm out here and I'm just, feeling my way. Now, let me say this, because I think sometimes some people get the word dating mixed up with hookups, because I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about you just randomly meeting people and then maybe you form a connection maybe out of 2 months and then you're sleeping with them, but then you meet another person and now you form a connection with them and you're sleeping with that person. So no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you're just on the dating scene. You're basically out there and you are, entertaining, whoever you like. And you're basically saying, it's not that I'm not looking for something serious, but I'm just trying to see who I vibe with. Because you're not, and the thing about this, you're not going to give your whole, and what I would say, your whole undivided attention to the first person you meet. Yes, you're going to spend time with them. You're going to get to know them. You're going to go out with, with them, maybe to certain concerts now that it's, warm weather, maybe to certain events that's happening. But then maybe 2 weeks later, you were at, maybe say at an event or a conference, and you meet somebody else and, they want to take you out maybe for coffee, or maybe they want to take you out to some type of, function that they're telling you about. And it was like, okay, so you're not tied to that first person. And even though I know this is going a different way, but I'm trying to lay a foundation when it comes to, first and foremost, us meeting people. Because the first thing I need to really make clear is that you have to know what you want when you get into meeting people for the first time. Are you going to put all your eggs in one basket with that first person you meet and not let them know, it's nice to meet you. I'm just, dating, seeing who I can connect with, because I am, want a long-term relationship. I do want to get married at some point in my life, but I'm out here and I'm meeting other people to see who is, in alignment with my values. So this way, once you are on that healing journey, you're not putting so much attention on one person. And I think this is why we attract so many people who are emotionally unavailable, because the first person that we meet and then we form some type of connection with, then before you know it, we're not even looking at other options. And I hate to say it like that, but the reason why I'm saying it is like that is because we get so attached to a person because we think, oh, well, this person likes me. Oh, they're interested. Oh, they say all the nice things to me and this and that. So now we're invested in just that one person. And do you see how sometimes when you have just tunnel vision on that one person, then this person maybe they are not, but maybe they're coming in manipulating, maybe they're coming in gaslighting, maybe they're coming in love bombing. But if that is the only person that you're entertaining and you're not looking at other people to see, is this person really for real? Is this person moving too fast? Because I know some of you women may have experience where you will meet a guy and within a week he's telling you he loves you. And you're like, what? And for some women, they go for that. For some women, because they want to be loved so bad, they will tell you, oh, you're a beautiful woman. I never met anybody like you before. And you're the type of person who I've been looking for. And I know you may think this is crazy, but I loved you since I seen your picture or whatever like that. I've been, watching you on social media and they'll say all these things. And then because sometimes we're love starved for attention, we'll be like, well, it's not impossible. We'll make up all of these scenarios. And I'm not saying it's impossible for somebody to have love at first sight, because I always say I will never generalize something, but and make it a blanket statement, because there's always an exception to the rule. But what we need to understand as women who are evolving, coming into our higher selves, the thing about when you are out here dating, so you don't attract unavailable or emotionally unavailable men, is the first thing is you have to heal the inner wounds within you. Because there's probably some childhood wounds within you that you have not addressed. Maybe in your family you were the child who, the mom or the dad depended on you to do everything. You had to watch your little sisters and brothers, and if they did something, you got in trouble for it. So it was like you were never seen. You were just the person to come in and, they would mess up the house, or you would go away, maybe spend the night out at your friend's house, and maybe come back, and to find out the house is in shambles, but now you're the one who has to now clean up everything, and they get away with murder. And it makes you not only have a resentment towards your parents, but you also have a resentment towards your siblings, because you're feeling like nobody sees you. You're just a cleanup person. You're just like, Cinderella. You're just the one who gets mistreated throughout the family. And these ain't even stepsisters and stepmother. These is, family, blood related, right? So the way that we have to heal that inner child is we have to sit with self. And I know sometimes that's so hard for a lot of us to do, because when we sit with self, we start remembering the pain of how we were ignored. We start remembering the pain of how we were taken advantage of. We start remembering the pain of, how we were not seen, how no one showed up for us, how everybody got showed up for in the family, but for you, you didn't get showed up for, maybe for your birthdays and maybe for certain events that were very important to you in your life. Those were events that were filled with a lot of trauma and anxiety because no one ever showed up for you. So when you get into a connection with a man who's basically love bombing you, and he's basically telling you, oh, you're such a beautiful woman, and I would love to have you in my life, and you fall for that. But the thing that you have to understand is you have to start doing the healing work. And like I said, if you join my Patreon, I'm going to go a little bit deeper. I have a workbook there where we will go through those steps. So this way you can start sitting with yourself and start understanding, a lot of things that were done to us. The majority of things that were done to us in our childhood is not our fault, but we still carry that trauma. We still carry the pain of what was done to us. And I think the way that we cut that cord, or we release that damage of what was done to us, whether it came from the parents, whether, our brothers and sisters, our siblings, had a hand in it because they would laugh at us when we would get in trouble for something they done. We have to forgive them for especially with our siblings, because basically they were just allowing adults to manipulate them as well, you know. But we have to forgive them, not because we are letting them off the hook. We forgive them because we say, you know what, this is something that happened to me. I wasn't in control. I didn't have a voice. And a lot of times we as children, we don't have a voice. We can't say to our parents, and some people do, but you know, most of the times we can't say to our parents, this is unfair. You know, why are you doing this? Why are you not letting them help out? Whatever. Or either we would get punished, we would get hit, we would be told we're disrespectful, and we just would be even shamed even more, even though we know that we were right with what we were saying, right? But we have to come to a point in our lives where we have to heal that inner child that is within us, because if we don't heal that inner child that's within us, then we will keep attracting men into our lives who are doing the same things that, you know, we experienced in our childhood, where they won't show up for us, where we'll be doing the most, doing overextending, cooking for them, cleaning their clothes, doing all of these things, sleeping with them, but they are still not making a commitment to you because they feel as though, oh, well, you know, you're doing all the wifely duties anyway, so why would I commit to you? Why would I make it official when, you know, hey, you're already giving me everything that, you know, is already wife material. So why would I have to make it official with a piece of paper? And you'll hear a lot of people say that. And I know sometimes people don't believe in marriage as far as, you know, the certificate, whatever like that, because we know that, you know, when two come together, the Bible says that we are one. And a lot of times what we don't understand is that when we do mesh with another person as far as intimacy, we create a soul tie there. We create a spiritual soul tie that was only meant for people who are in union to be married, or it is a covenant. It is a covenant. Let me say it like that. It is a covenant. So when you lay down with someone, you're making a covenant with them. You're basically saying, you know, I'm giving my body to you and you're giving your body to me. And through that, we're forming a union where we're not going to break that. But in this day and age that we're in, with hookup culture and people just, you know, cheating on one another, it's gotten to the place where now you really have to be discerning about the person that you're with. You really have to be discerning when a person comes into your life. What is their intention towards you? And you have to be in the energy that, you know, if someone shows me who they are, if you even feel something off, because a lot of times people don't really even have to say something. It could be a look, it could be just something that somebody else wouldn't pick up on, but because you're an empath and because you're intuitive, it comes across to you loud and clear, like, wait, let me put a check mark there. Do you know how many times within not only my marriage, but other connections that I was in, that I would hear something, or it would just be even something nonverbal. It could even be a text. And the energy within that showed me something was off. So a lot of times it doesn't have to even be verbal communication. It could be a gesture, it could be a facial look or expression, or it could be, you know, like I'm saying, it doesn't have to be a verbal, you know, response. It could just be even a text message carries energy, and you can pick up the energy through that text message of what that person is saying, right? Or what the intent behind that text message is. So we, as, you know, empaths, we have to be more highly discerning. We have to understand that when people are unavailable, when they show up in our lives and they say that they want the things that you say you want, and you know, to be surface level, it could be, yeah, I want a long-term commitment, and I want a loyal person. I want a faithful person. And that's basically surface level, because everybody wants, you know, well, loyalty and, you know, not to say everybody, because I can't generalize that either. But basically you want someone who is going to be, you know, treat you right, who's not going to be out there sleeping around on you and then come back and sleep with you. And now you got to sit here and think, did this person give me something? And let me say this. Because as I want to just interject this right here, because it just came to me. We as women who have been in connections and marriages and relationships with our partners who have gone out and have cheated on us and slept with other people, right? But then we forgive them and we bring them back into our energy. We bring them back into our space. We bring them back into our lives, back into that bedroom. And they already have broken that trust. So a lot of times we have to really be discerning, because we have to understand if this person isn't on the journey to healing, if this person isn't on the journey to really feeling what they did and that they broken the relationship, not to say that it can't be repaired, but if they keep doing this, if this is a constant thing that, every 6 months or every 3 months, you finding out something else done happened, and you continue to stay in that situation, and you continue to put up with someone who is laying down with other people, then coming and laying down with you, it has to go through your mind to say, okay, when I get up from this person, am I worried about my health being, compromised because I'm loving this person more than I'm loving myself? Because if this person is willing to compromise their own health, why would they not care? They're not caring about mine because they're not caring about their own. So I think sometimes we really need to go to that aspect to think about that. It's basically an emotionally unavailable response when someone can go and sleep with another person and then come and bring that back to the person that they love, and not even have the inkling to say, wait a minute, let me go get tested. Let me wait a minute to see if an activity that I've done that I know I shouldn't have done is going to bring me to the point where it's going to mess up my home life. And again, like I'm saying, like, you give out this information, but people use it to be more secretive, more down low. You know what I'm saying? Instead of really understanding that the type of person that they are and the healing that they need to do within themselves. If you can't be faithful to the partner that you're with, then why are you with them? If you want to be a non-committal individual and you just want to go and sleep around, then you should not be invested with someone who is thinking that this situation or relationship is going to be long term. So let me go down. Why do we subconsciously attract them? Because we grew up with inconsistent or emotional distant caregivers. Learned love early equals waiting, improving, and performing. So a lot of times we learn early that in order for me to receive love from someone, I have to do the most. I have to overextend myself. I have to make sure that they see me. I have to let them know what a good person I am, what a good woman I am. So at one point they'll say, oh, wow, you're a good woman. Oh, you do this, you do that. But they may say that to you, but to their friends, oh yeah, you, honey, I got a woman over there, honey. She do anything for me, honey, cause she know me, and I don't do nothing hardly for her. But I'll go over there, maybe give her a couple of dollars every now and then, and and get what I want. But honey, I ain't trying to commit with the. And this is what they be saying. But see, what they don't understand is that the Most High sees everything. There's nothing hidden. Like, they say these things to their friends and they laugh it off, and they talk about their sexual conquest that they done had with this one and that one, and comparing notes and doing all these things, thinking that it's giving them, a pat on the back. Yeah, I'm the man. That doesn't make you a man because you done slept with, I don't know, 80 women. That makes you trash. And I'm sorry to say it like that. But to me, that's borderline sex addiction. Not even borderline. That's more than borderline. To sleep with so many women, and some people can't stop because it's an addiction. Some people can't stop because it's an addiction. And it's sad when you see people in that situation, and the woman, she's basically taking on all of this, I wouldn't say responsibility, but she's bearing the weight of being in a connection with someone who she invested so much time and effort and energy and maybe even finances and giving up her body, to the point of where now when she feels as though I have nothing left to give, because this person has done took away my esteem. You know, they just continue, no matter how much I try to show them I love them, no matter how much I try to be there for them, no matter how much I try to encourage them, they just won't do right. And the thing that I say to that is, we have to get to a point when and I said this in a video on my other platform, when people show you who they are, you have to believe them. Like, we can't keep giving people chances to basically disappoint us. You can't keep giving people chances to disappoint you, because now all that love, all that attention, all that affection, all that nurturing and things that you were doing, if you start doing it to yourself and stop pouring into that person, stop arguing with them. Because why would you argue with a grown person? They have free will. They can do what they want to do. I won't even say, because a lot of times we say, well, if you're in a marriage, no, it's not even different when you're in a marriage, because they still have free will. That man in that marriage, that woman in that marriage can choose to walk out the door today or tomorrow. And honey, I know from experience, because that's what my ex did. He walked out the door and was like, deuces. And it was like, now you got to figure it out. And this is why a lot of times some men don't want you to be financial independent. They don't want you to make more money than them, because they're not only envious of you, but they don't want you to have the upper hand when it comes to where now where you don't need to depend on them. See, they want that control for you to need them. They want that control for you to depend on them. And when we give over that power, it is so dangerous, because now it's almost like we're just, that puppet. Everything they want, we do, because we're looking for affection. Maybe they'll give it, maybe they won't. And if they don't give it, then we'll just try to find other things to occupy ourselves with. And we'll make excuses in our head. Well, at least he does this for me. Well, at least he pays the bills. Well, at least he does, give me money for this and that. We make so many excuses, and we say, at least. Do you understand that? At least? That's the word we should never even say. At least he does this. What you're expected to do, especially if you're in a loving relationship and someone else is doing the most for you, and you can't even do the bare minimum, and you only do it as a way to keep a person, dependent on you, because you're so shallow and insecure that that if this person starts loving on themselves correctly and starts seeing the beauty within them, that they will really see you, and your mask will be exposed. Your mask will fall off, because all they will see is a broken, insecure person who has not matured past a certain age. Whatever was done to that person at a certain age, it stunted their growth, and they stayed in that energy, and they continue to take whatever was done to them and make it a vendetta to say, I will never be in this energy of being all in love with a woman or being all in love with a man. I'm never gonna let nobody put me in that to break my heart again. So I'm out here, and all it's about is me, F&Bs. All it is out here is me is getting dudes money, and you stay in that energy. But what you don't understand, what comes is karma. Because the thing about karma, let me explain something about how karma comes. Because see, a lot of times people are like, oh, what do you mean karma? I ain't getting no karma. See, when you're dealing with a low vibrational person who is on your same energy, the reason why you don't get that karma, because y'all on the same playing field. You're right here. So you're basically is really each other's karma, because, oh, you did this to me. Oh, I'm getting my lick back. Oh, okay, well, you cheated on me. Well, I'll cheat on you and get my lick back. So you're both experiencing karma, but you don't even think it as karma, because you're in that low vibrational energy where it's tit for tat. But when you come and you play on someone who is high vibrational, they just have not been awakened to who they are, and you're down here in your low vibrational energy, and you come and you try to play those tactics on them because they have not awakened fully to who they are because of their past trauma and abuse that they've went through and all those things. And now you come and you play on them, and you cheat on them, and you lie, and you manipulate, and you gaslight. Guess what? Now karma is coming for you in such a great way, because that person is a high vibrational being. They just have not waken up to who they are, because they don't operate in a tit for tat energy. They operate in love. They operate and empathy. They operate in good qualities. So when you come with a low vibrational energy and now you come against a high vibrational person, oh baby, when karma come, everything that you love is about to now be done with. And I'm saying it in a way that if money was your God, then guess what? The universe is about to say, okay, you mess with someone who was really there to help you, even though they wasn't awakened, but I sent them into your life for the specific reason, for them to learn a lesson that they need to value themselves. So because of your low vibrational energy, you kept triggering them. And once you triggered them, what ended up happening is now they got so fed up with being triggered that it caused that pain that they needed to move forward, right? It caused that pain to move forward. But what you didn't realize what happened, because now they awakened and had that awakening, I don't deserve to be treated like this. Let me go in and heal myself. Let me go in and love myself. Let me go in and now understand, why do I keep attracting this type of individual? Why do I keep attracting this person who never sees me, who always wants to play in my face, who wants to cheat on me, who wants to lie to me? Oh, it came from childhood. It came from me trying to, overextend, trying to get love from my parents, trying to be seen, trying to, deal with the childhood wounds of being even abandoned and, in my childhood by parents, them not being there for me. So now once I dealt with those issues, those abandonment wounds, those childhood wounds, then I was able to heal myself, right? But what people don't realize is because they mess with that high vibrational being, and even though they had to learn their lesson the hard way, but now karma's saying, oh, you mess with one of God's children, you mess with an earth angel, they all they did was love you, all they did was there to support you and be there for you. But because you've done that, and all they didn't bring the same energy that the other person that was in your life, because y'all were on that same level. They didn't bring that same energy to you. But what you did is you took the kindness of someone who didn't bring you that same energy, and you just continue to play on them. So now you're going to realize what it feels to be really receive karma, because now everything that you thought that you never, because you was just around a whole bunch of people who was just really karmics, people who were low vibrational in your life. So you really never kind of really understood karma playing out in your life because you were around these low vibrational people. But now when you touch someone who is chosen, someone who has empathy, someone who is loving to a fault and still has a loving heart, you haven't tainted that. But now you're going to really understand now how the universe is going to come in and make you pay karma for doing bad and being deceitful to a good person. See, what people don't understand, long as they're doing it to that same low vibrational energy, they're basically receiving karma back and forth. But when they do it to someone who has a good heart and good intentions, that's when really the karma shows up at a way of stripping them. And really, I don't even know if a lot of people is ready for that. But it doesn't even matter whether you're ready or not, because you should not have played on the kindness of a good person. So the reason how you as an individual, as a woman, and even if a man is watching this, is to not attract emotionally avoidant or emotionally unavailable people, is to heal. So let me go to this point. Fear of vulnerability. So emotional unavailability feels safer. You won't have to fully open. Deep down, you fear, if I let someone truly see me, they'll reject me. So this is what that non-avoidant person says, or that person who is emotionally unavailable. They're never going to let you see the deeper part of them. They're never going to show up as their true, authentic self. They're never going to have any emotional depth. They won't have deep conversations with you because they feel like, oh, if I let you get close to me, then you'll probably use me like the last person did. Or if I let you get too close to me, then now you're going to hurt me like my ex did. Or if I let you get, I'm not going to be a simp out here. That's how, oh, God. All these type of men make me have a rash because it's like, when will you ever get past what somebody did to you like 10, 15, 20 years ago? And you still carrying that, and you're using that, like I just said, as the basis to go out and hurt other people purposely because you don't want to deal with the hurt of what somebody did to you. Yeah, somebody hurt you, somebody did you wrong, but does that mean that you have to go out and hurt other people? Does that mean that you have to go out and be reckless and do the same thing that was done to you? You know how it feels. So why would you want to put somebody else in that energy? So the reason why you have to understand the pattern of what emotionally unavailable people do, they never go deep within conversations with you. They don't open up to you. Yeah, they may tell you they love you, but you may say, well, why do you love me? Oh, just because I love you. Well, can you give me? Oh, because you this, you that. But they never really have deep conversations with you when it comes to emotions because they're emotionally unavailable. They think showing emotions to a woman is weak. Oh, if I show her that I really love her and I'm into her, then she going to take advantage of me. She going to use me and take that, you know, and I'm not going to be a simp. I'm not going out here being a simp. It doesn't make you a simp for the right woman. You need to, and this is what I need to say for the men who may watch this. You need to, just like I'm telling the women that they need to be able to judge correctly and use their intuition, so do the men. How you won't attract a simp if you go and get that healing. I mean, how did I say it wrong? You won't attract an emotionally unavailable woman if you go and get that healing. Let me say it like that. But the reason why you keep attracting the same type of person is because you won't get healed. So you're going to attract someone who is emotionally avoidant because within you, you still have that void in you. And you're still overextending, overdoing, making somebody try to see that you're a good person and doing all of this. And then they come and they take advantage of you. You ignore the red flags. And like, again, I said in the beginning of this, you have to understand and know and take a piece of paper and write down what you want in a connection, in a relationship. What is it that you want? What are your non-negotiables? What are your boundaries that you're going to set up? And let me say this, and when you go against what you want, when you go against your non-negotiables, when you go against your boundaries, you're going against yourself. You're basically telling yourself, I'm going to sabotage you because you want love so bad that the person that comes into my life, or the first person that comes into my life and show me any type of, you know, kind words or whatever, I'm going to lower my guard down because I need that love. I need whatever it is that they had. I need that attention. Sometimes you don't even care if it's negative attention, long as they're showing me some type of attention. And this is what we have to heal. This is what you have to heal in order for you to get into the place or be in the place of not attracting someone. You first have to become the person who is a healed version of yourself. So this way, when people come to you with that BS, and not to say they're not going to come, because they are going to come, because the more you pour into yourself, the more light you shine, the more higher you vibrate, the more that your energy just basically becomes more attractive. So yeah, you're going to attract light and dark, but you got to know when the dark comes, you already have your wants, your non-negotiables, and your boundaries. So when they come to try to play in your face and love bomb you and say, oh, well, you're so beautiful, like you'll see that because it'll turn you off. Because if a man or a woman keeps talking about, oh, this and that, you're so beautiful, I never met so, oh, how are you so sexy, how you look like this, and they keep harping on that, knowing they're love bombing you. They're trying to get you into an attachment where you will lower your guard. And now you will be so, enamored with them, just worshiping you at that point where you will let everything else go. And we got to be able to say, no, I thank you for that. But the Bible tells us, beware of the flattering tongue. The Bible tells you, beware of the flattering tongue. Can we give people compliments? Yes. But to overdo it is basically a red flag. So I hope that this has helped you. And I want to give you another pattern. So pattern 4, this is a pattern that sometimes we have. We're always trying to fix someone. We making excuses for their poor communication. Oh, they just don't want to talk because, they've been through this. So, I'm just going to give them grace and they'll talk when they want to. But you've been in it for 3 years and they still ain't open their mouth about nothing. Staying in limbo situations. They always keep you in limbo. It's always a promise, but it's never the fulfillment of it. It's always, we're going to do this. It's always a future thing, but nothing never in the present. So you're basically living an illusion because you're waiting for something to happen in the future that's not even happening, and you've been invested 5 years and you still waiting. Realizing this isn't love, this is emotional survival. So when we get to the point where we find people who are emotionally unavailable, we have to take that in, and it shouldn't take long. Because when you come in, and I guess, once you realize that this is the person after you maybe have vetted other people, because I always say we have to vet people now. We can't just go with one person, invest all our time and energy, then we done invested all our time and energy into this one person. Now we done got our heart broken. So now we got to heal from that before we can even move on to other people to even have a connection with. This is why I say it's not wrong with dating multiple people until you understand who you vibe with. Who is the one that is more aligned with you, not coming in on some BS. So when you understand that, and when you get to the place where you now have done the inner work on you, you won't just put all your eggs in one basket. Because I'm telling you, most men, I'm not saying all, most men don't put all their eggs in one basket. They'll talk to you, and when they hang up with you, then they on the phone with somebody else, or they meeting somebody else, at the club later. Because they may have feelings for you, they may have love for you, but they always keep their options open. But what they don't realize is that the person who was there, the person who was pouring all that love, was the better option, but they end up taking someone else over you because they thought that the grass was greener over there. But God really sent you to this connection to basically not only heal and awaken you, but to heal and awaken them. But because they made the wrong choice, now they have to go through karma for basically misusing you. So if you have any comments, please leave them below, so I will come and either answer them or I will do it with a follow-up video. But we're going to go deeper on my Patreon page, so this way you can get the workbook, Emotionally Unavailable People. So have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. And thank you for coming over on Conversations Over Coffee, which is under the branding of Heal and Thrive. So great day. Bye-bye.